Monkey Boy debuted a new tune a few weeks ago, and then we fanned the flame of Gotta Get Out of Here last week, and I begged you to request push Blacklite District into the 20s. As promised, let's get up close and personal. The man himself, Kyle Pfeiffer. How you doing?
I'm good, brother. Good, man. Thank you for having me. Like we said off air, you've been supporting for years, so I'm glad we finally get to say what's up.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, it is. I was like, seriously, man, I've been playing him that long. And
Yeah, right.
thanks for being on Real Rock Nights. I really appreciate it.
Any
Now, I'm going to hit you with one question. I try to stay away from the quintessential radio guy questions, and I know you're probably always hit with why do you use the name Blacklite District, or how did you get that name? But I'm going to spin it a little bit different way. Was it always in the plan to use the name Blacklite District?
um not really. I mean, it's really, I wish I had more of an interesting story. I mean, it was really just, me and a bunch of friends from school, started a band and just always played. And we went through names. Our first name was Deadlocked, LOC''T.
Okay.
And then we went to Dangertainment. Like, yeah, I know.
Okay.
So eventually I was like, well, what about like the red light district? Because at the time that was kind of like, everyone talked about weed and this and that, and Amsterdam was so cool and stuff. And then one of my other friends was just like, well, why not black light district? We love Black Sabbath, and, make it red light district, but make it metal, I guess.
Make it.
Yeah. So basically picked the name from there, and it's just stuck, man. Like 20 years later or something, 15, so crazy, man. But again, the project was so early. I mean, I was probably 15 years old. It was just kind of like a local thing. And, over the next 5-6 years, when it started having some success, it was like, man, the name is locked in. I actually like the name still to this day. I've had phases last year or two where I've thought about maybe wanting to start from scratch, but man, over time you build up equity in what you do and the branding, so to speak. So here it is, Blacklite District, whether it's me or a band or whatever you want to call it, the music's Blacklite District. So
Now we were talking about how long. I was really surprised how long the flagship station has been playing you, and I look back in my archives. Well, archives are pretty easy now. I don't have a room full of freaking CDs. They just go to my hard drive. 6:33 a.m. October 4th, 2016. The first time I heard any of your music, and 7:45 that same morning, The Struggle was added to the flagship station. I was I was like, yeah, definitely. I got to watch these guys.
That is some of the coolest info I think I've ever gotten from a radio guy, just to throw that out there, man. I mean, down to the minute you heard it and when it was added. So awesome, man. And I remember that too, because, at the time, that song obviously is a bit outside the box for what as a radio guy,
Yes.
So again, I was kind of like in the middle of, man, really at the end of the day, just wanting to do something different and be fresh and unique. I had just, dude, the passion of the hard rock music kind of got stamped out of me over the years, just because of, I mean, you know how it is, bro. The business is just so political.
Yes.
And sometimes it used to bum me out that it's not really just about having the great song. There's so much else there. But again, man, to have your support over all these years, you've helped me get some amazing charted songs. And again, I can't express enough how much I appreciate it. And here we are going strong, bro. So
yeah, well, when I remember specifically when I heard that, and I heard that synth, that's what got stuck in my head right at the beginning. Couldn't get it out, and I was like, okay, this is going on.
Right. Yeah. And it's cool too, because, once in a while I'll be on Twitter and I'll get like a notification from the station that, now playing The Struggle or now playing one of the other songs over the years. And what's so cool, man, I have to say this, like, as an artist, one of my goals / dreams, whatever, is to be an artist that can put out songs that 5, 10, maybe 20 years later are still getting played. And you've made a part of that come true, man, by again having songs like Cold as Ice or The Struggle or Living in a Nightmare that kind of stay in that recurrent / gold library. It's amazing, man. So I can't thank you enough.
That is one thing that you'll find on all of our radio group stations. once a song is played on the air, it's not like a lot of other stations. We keep on playing it because we don't have jocks on the station for that reason. We want to give people more music.
Right.
And so we don't have these guys taking up like 20-25 minutes of talk time an hour or something. So,
Right.
but one thing I've noticed through the years, you mentioned a couple of their songs, you keep changing things up. Okay. Broken Souls, and then the Living in a Nightmare was a little heavier hitting right away. And then you go to the almost desperation, like song Falling, which was an incredible tune as well. God, people listening have to check these things out, man. You really do. Now, is that a conscious effort, the changes of the different ways the songs go, or do you kind of feel that's more of an organic thing that just kind of happens and like, ooh, I like that?
Man, it's kind of both in a way. It definitely leans toward, you know, over the years growing up, I wanted to be a rock star. I mean, I love Ozzy Osbourne. I mean, Metallica. I got it all over, So it's like, I guess, I grew up, picturing, playing to 20,000 people in arenas, having platinum records, blah, blah, blah. And, over time, I think, especially in the last 10 years, I think I kind of realized that, and it sucks, I hate to say it, but it seems like rock music is not in that place right now where you have these breakout mainstream pop culture phenomenons like a Guns N' Roses or something back in the day. And there is just a part of me that I want that, I mean, that's my dream. So when I see people or artists like a Post Malone or something like that, yeah, it's rap and pop, but he brings a bit of that rock and roll edge to it, whether it's musically or other factors. So then on the flip side of that, it's like, growing up playing guitar, making albums, this and that, for a while, like talking about how the passion got quote stamped out. It's almost like I just felt for a while, it's like, man, it's hard to make a guitar riff that sounds fresh and unique because everything's been done. So that's where my interests start going. It's like, okay, because fortunately for me on YouTube and Spotify, I've done, over 400 million streams, closing in on 500 million. Big YouTube partners. I mean, it's insane the support I get on these platforms now. So I guess my mind was being inspired by these newer artists like a Post Malone or The Weeknd or a 21 Pilots, and just not for any reason other than trying, if I can bring a little bit of that hard rock back into a mainstream way, like that's what I want to do, even though I'm not a mainstream artist, you know what I'm saying? So it's like really so it's definitely a conscious decision, but it's not made to be like, oh, I want to make more money or make more this or that. Obviously that's always nice, but it's really just about getting it out there. So real quick, the beginning of 2021, January, I went to rehab drug treatment in the beginning of the year. So I'm 9 months sober off of fentanyl, very powerful opioids and things like that. Both my parents deceased from opiates. And then at the beginning of the summer, I broke my hip and it's still broken right now. So I was on crutches, stuck in the chair. Long story short, bro, ended up playing guitar, starting to write songs like I used to on the notepad. And all of a sudden, man, I just got this passion back and I wanted to go in and make a real rock album. I hit up my old producer, Brett Hessla, who was the bass player for Creed, singer of bands like Dark New Day and Virgo's Merlot. We worked together many years ago and went in there and I made this new album called 1990. And I feel like I just went through life, took all my influences. It wasn't about what's going to be a hit. What is radio going to play? What are the playlists on Spotify going to add? It was about, let's make epic music and whatever happens, happens. And that's where we're at with Gotta Get Out of Here.
I'm so glad to hear you say that it's not about what's going to get on the radio, what's going to be a radio hit, and that's just good music. And I know people listening have heard me say over and over, but that is one thing that really bothers me about some, especially new artists that are coming out, because I do think they have that same vision in their head. I'm going to be this huge rock star, this awesome, and all they want are radio hits, radio hits, radio hits, and they keep hitting. Some of them don't even do albums, man.
Right.
They will do like maxi singles or something like that. Maybe put out like 2 or 3 tunes, right? And they all sound like a mishmash of the same thing. So I am so glad to hear that, and I'm so looking forward to 1990. You brought up one point also that want to talk about, you mentioned a few other artists, of course, not in the rock genre. Over the last like year and a half, and I kind of credit COVID with this a little bit. I've seen so many collaborations between like you mentioned Post Malone. What I played one last week. Kesha is with Ali Sykes.
Yeah, I saw that.
And there's all these collaborations going on that are cross genre. And I don't know. I'm wondering, do you think that's going to help music in general?
It's funny because I've talked about this a lot actually, and with like rock radio guys, and just, a lot of people on my team that I work with.
Yeah.
And what I've noticed personally, at least, is that, you look at the like Billboard Hot 100 or something, which is like the main chart. They call it the pop chart, but it,
Yeah.
it just includes everything, top selling, let's call it top streaming, whatever. And, there's always features and collaborations in the rap world and in the pop world. If fans are disappointed when a rapper comes out with an album and there's only 3 features on it, what the hell, man? And it's funny because you look at like, an Octane or some sort of rock station, in that kind of vein, and you kind of don't see almost any of that. In a way, it's in the rock world. So like you mentioning like Bring Me the Horizon, and I don't know if it was just Ollie or the band with Kesha, but to me it's like, for example, like how Post Malone had Ozzy on that track a couple years.
Yeah.
Say what you want. So to me, it's like, if let's look at that situation. Post Malone puts Ozzy on the track. It gives Ozzy, I mean, obviously he's had massive rock hits, but it gives him his first pop top 10 single in 30 years, and maybe introduced him to an entire new generation.
New group.
He had no clue who he was. So in that aspect of things, I think it's amazing. If I was on a Post Malone track, that would probably introduce me to a whole bunch of people that never heard of me before, and it might even be bigger than where I'm at now just from that. So I do think it can help. I guess it's going to depend on who's doing it, what the song is. Obviously there's a lot of factors, but I think it could help, man.
That's I don't know. There's so many different ones that have come out that I'm like, man, and then like you're talking about the charts, looking at the different charts and seeing names that, first of all, either I've never seen in my life on the pop charts, or seeing names that I haven't seen for years in the pop charts. Because when you're looking at like GNR and that stuff in like 84, 85 and stuff like that, that was kind of an era of rock 40. It wasn't even top 40 music. I mean, it went from band to band to band, and they were all rock and metal artists on the top 40 stations. It was weird as
and
hell.
that was like pop culture back then, how like rap today. So I guess like going back to what we said earlier, that's like the dream, at least and I'm sure many people have growing up, like that's the vision. So when we get here now and it's not like that, that's when it's almost like you kind of have to pivot a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But for example, obviously with songs like The Struggle and things like that, I've gotten a lot of pushback from rock radio over the years, and rightfully so. I mean, I get it, trust me. But I guess my thought was always like, look, with the state of the business right now at this genre specifically, if the radio, and again, I'm not just singling out radio, just everyone in general, if everyone was like, listen, there's new sounds coming in, let's try some of these new flavors, because how are you going to create the next generation of stars if you're only relying on the last generation of stars?
That is that a reason you keep on bringing up things that I've kind of thought about myself. Do you think that's the reason that classic rock hasn't moved forward? Because right now, these classic rock stations are playing songs that are like 40, 50 years old. It's like, where's the Nirvana, the Soundgarden?
Yeah, well, that's the thing, man. Again, I can go listen to my local rock station here in South Dakota, and 9 times out of 10, I'm going to hear Sabbath or AC/DC or Foo Fighters or heritage rock, as they would call it. And again, they all have a place for that. But when it's like new rock station, like to me, I think it should be a playlist of mainly currents with a couple of classics thrown in here and there. But to me, it seems like it's reversed in the real world, where it's all based on the classic stuff with maybe a couple currents thrown in. And to me, that's what prevents the whole thing from moving forward, because again, you're not focusing on creating new stars. You know what I'm saying? And to me,
I
it's
do.
so frustrating, man.
So so you're basically helping the people stick in like one area, one, if you want to say one decade, or
Right.
it's very, very, it's strange and a little bit annoying.
Right.
And can I tell you what I got from your music alone? This is before I knew anything about you, Kyle.
Please do, man.
Okay. I envisioned the little guy like 9, 10 years old in Spearfish, South Dakota, just waiting to get out to unleash his plot onto the world, kind of thing. And getting shit sandwich after shit sandwich. You just get through one and you think everything's going to be okay. And then another appears, but you're focused. You got this vision. You got this thing you're going to do. And you just keep on moving forward. Now, am I a little off based on that? Because that was what I got from like hearing, like I'm talking about the desperation, like in areas of your songs, and or the positivity from the negative in a song. And am I a little off base, or was, because then I read your bio and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, man.
It's
Yeah.
like
It's crazy. I mean, you're pretty much right on the path here. The only thing that was different is that I moved to South Dakota around that time. I'm actually right from outside of Chicago.
okay.
So Northwest Indiana, not that that matters, but yeah, kind of like going back to what I said earlier, man. Like, so my mom died of a heroin overdose when I was 9 years old. And obviously when you're a young kid and something like that happens, and it wasn't a complete surprise. I mean, I'd been, you know, in a way kind of prepared and went through shit basically to get there. So for me, you know, that's like one of these moments in life that just never leaves you. Like they call it trauma nowadays, you know. I was actually just diagnosed this year with PTSD from all the stuff 20 years later, which blew my mind that that was even a thing. But that's, you know, when they start going to the core of your addictions and things like that, you know, you really bring all this stuff out. So it was really exactly like that, man. Music was my escape from the nightmare I called life at the time, because it just kind of like how you said it, one thing happens, you think you're good, right? And then, okay, so fast forward, okay, you know, 15 some years later, the mom thing's in the past. I finally grown up. Then my father, who I never really knew too well, he kind of comes into the picture, and all of a sudden we start meeting up once in a while. And then a few months in, he starts texting me these kind of like suicidal texts, like, "Oh, Kyle, just so you know, I always loved you, even when I didn't know we were of relation. You're going to hear things about me," all this kind of weird stuff. And his wife would say, "Oh, like, don't, he's just upset. He called me. He's like, man, you know, I never got over your mom. I never told anyone this, blah, blah." He ends up actually killing himself that year. And of course, like, he's messed with me. I ignore it because it's like, oh, he's just wanting attention. And so again, it's like when you think a whole chapter of life is closed and done with, this guy comes up, brings all of this stuff back up again, because it's all connected. You know, in my mind, it's like, wow, there's a connection to my mom here that I'm not aware of, that, you know, I want to know things. I don't know what my questions are, but I feel like I need answers, you know? Yeah. And then all of a sudden this happens. And it turns out he actually, you know, does this, you know, via a heroin overdose as well. And then, you know, so again, man, it was just like one thing after another. And at times it feels like the music's the only thing that keeps me going. It's the only outlet I have. Desperation, like you said in that song, falling, watching things slip away. There's really, the struggle is a great example. That was really all about that stuff, you know? So it's exactly like that, man. And it's unfortunate, but how you said, and there's a song on my new album called Clear Skies that is kind of about all of this type of stuff, but has that positive, like, coming out of this, okay, it looks like clear skies finally. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm kind of all over here, but that's kind of what I get out of it when you ask me that question, you know, because it is exactly that in many ways.
Okay. Well, seriously, man, I really think your life, who would you want to play you in the movie of your life? Because I really think your life should be a movie, man.
You have no idea how many times I hear that. I was just in Wisconsin, and I have my tour manager is also a video director and does my videos, also has his own band called Another Lost Year, and we've toured and this and that. Maybe you've heard of them.
Okay, yeah, totally. Yeah, I had Clinton on a few different
Yeah,
times.
Clinton. That's
Yeah.
exactly what I'm talking about. So he and I have been filming. He's been filming me for about 3 years now because again, he comes out, tour manages, he films this and that. And with him and I going over the story, he's like, dude, we have to turn this into like a docu-series or a documentary or a movie type thing. Because man, it is. I mean, my wife and I talk about all the time. Yeah, it's trauma and it's pain and it's real life, but I mean, it's a hell of a story. You can't make this shit up, bro. And again, these are just two, yes, very significant things to me, the death of my parents, but that's just one fraction of the overall story. And bro, I wouldn't be surprised if one day you hear an announcement about some sort of documentary hitting Netflix or something. Who knows?
Going on. I'm well, you're gonna have one person here that will be a complete viewer.
Yeah. And I don't know who would play me. My wife thinks I look like a mixture of Jack Nicholson and Leo DiCaprio. So who knows, man? She thinks she gets the Jack Nicholson. I've heard that a few times. And actually, real quick, Clinton, we were on tour. Another Last Year was opening on my tour a long time ago. He goes on stage and he tells everyone, it was a tiny little club in West Virginia, maybe 50 people there. He goes on stage right before me and says, just so you guys know, the guy playing guitar, this is Jack Nicholson's son. The audience says. So I go up on stage, no one knows who we are, right? And all these people are filming, like, oh my God, like right on me. And I was like, and anyways, afterward, I go to the merch table. This older dude comes up. He's like, oh my God, I can't believe you're Jack Nicholson's son. And I was like, no, man, he was just kind of joking. This dude was pissed, bro. He got Clinton. He's like, where is that guy? I can't believe he, like, it was a whole scene. So I just had to throw that in.
He had probably been texting people, like, shooting live video and stuff. Wanted to be really cool. Yeah. But hell, I would have went with it.
Dude, I did for a while, but what I think something happened where the guy was kind of asking, like, oh, can you, show me this, like trying to kind of get proof.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
it just became too much. Like, okay, gotta come clean.
Another relationship, man, like Clinton, totally separate bands. We met because we had the same agent, ended up touring together. And, after we did the first couple tours together, we didn't really talk much. And man, just over the years, he's been watching my success on, again, YouTube and Spotify is kind of like my bread and butter with my Minecraft videos that have done hundreds of millions of streams. I mean, it's really launched my career, man. I mean, this year I've got to turn down several 6-figure deals and this and that. And I'm actually,
awesome.
Because I have my own AK-19 label.
See that?
Yeah. So I get to kind of do all the stuff, man. Clinton has become a great friend and support. And bro, at the end of the day, I am just grateful to be in the spot I'm in, that I get to make music. And yeah, you might not see me on the radio charts and this and that often, although I am sometimes, but in this other world called YouTube, I mean, it's a totally different animal over there. You know what I'm saying?
So are they treating you? Because I know that they've been changing up their algorithm so much. And
YouTube has especially, yeah.
Is like hell. I don't know, because I don't even monetize any of the stuff I put up there.
You can ask me anything you want about this, man. I'm very open.
Do they like send you a list of shit you can't say on the air or something? Because there are certain keywords that will trigger the algorithm and pull the
kind of the viewership, like
pull that down, but then like actually demonetize the videos and stuff too.
Right.
Like, yeah. I know like you can't say certain things. Like I was watching a thing. I watch a ton of YouTube, man. So watching a thing about Johnny Depp and they can't say wife beater on there.
Right.
So of course that's blanked out, and there's some other stuff. But anyway, yeah, my question to you.
You mentioned that. Sorry, go ahead. My bad.
Oh, no. I'm just wondering, did they send out a list or something? Or is there a place where like the actual like YouTube creators can go to actually see like what is proper at that time?
I've never actually gotten a list. So I mentioned the Minecraft videos. I have this partner. His channel is called Rainimator. That's his name. Almost 2 million subscribers. I think we've done 10 music videos together. Basically, he takes my songs and he creates custom. If you're familiar with Minecraft, it's a video game.
Yeah, yeah.
And he creates custom animations from the ground up. I mean, this guy is amazing. I think he's actually going to be interning at Pixar coming
Oh
up.
wow.
So his animation skills, it's incredible, man. Which is, I think, one of the reasons why the videos do so well. But I have a song called Cold as Ice, and the first verse, the lyric says, "There's a little hate in my heart, blah blah blah." And I noticed when he put the video up, the lyric said, "There's a little pain in my heart." And I thought it was a typo. And he said, "No, man, if we mention hate in the video, it won't demonetize it, but it affects the algorithm and where it shows up. And now it's all about above 18, under 18, kids watching. Is this made for kids?" So they're really changing that up. The video has gone on now to get 70 million views, which is insane. Pretty much launched that song. So I don't think per se they send out a list of things you can't say, but they have certain guidelines. I think on, if you're a creator on YouTube, I'm sure there's somewhere, but I have yet to see a list per se.
So basically, it is most. I'm guessing it's most likely something that you just got to keep. You got to stay up on it. You got to keep looking. You got to use your common sense.
Yeah, and like you said,
tread lightly.
Things constantly, so you never know what's going on this week. Something that's okay right now might not be okay next year. You know what I'm saying? So it's always obvious just to use common sense and be on top of these things. So, and again, I always keep in mind that I have my primary audience is teenagers, 90 some percent in terms of streaming is teenagers. So I'm always, cautious and conscious of, I got kids watching, but I'm not going to completely, like sell myself out or change the whole program based on just that, but it's a mixture of the two, I suppose.
Okay. I've seen too, what is it now? You get 3 copyright strikes.
Yep.
Your channel's toast.
Toast, man.
They take you out, which is really weird. So that's annoying to me because I pay like ASCAP, BMI, CSAC, SOCAN, Sound Exchange, all the shit to license like my stuff. So when I make a promo and I put in things like bits of songs, like for anybody, like I'm making a promo for you, and like you're going to be coming to doing a show where we're going to be at or something. So I run a promo on the air. Well, I want to put that on YouTube and put that up on the socials also.
Right.
And they normally don't keep it, or they normally don't find it until after the promotion is over, because they're normally like only like 5-6 second parts of songs or something that are leading into sound effects and stuff like that. Right. But yeah, they will. And then all of a sudden I'll get I have a copyright, 2 copyright strikes on the flagship station YouTube site, one for Hailstorm and one for In This Moment. Oh, wow. So I get one more. I don't even post anything up on that channel anymore because I get one more, it's gone.
And I will say this, I think there is a way you can get rid of those strikes somehow. I can't remember where I heard this or if I had a friend that did it, but somehow he was able to get rid of one of his strikes by doing something. Maybe that's something to look into. Another thing, like going to the Minecraft videos, not as it just Minecraft, but I work with a lot of these anime channels. Basically, I like to get my music to anyone who will listen to it, so if it's anime videos, and again, I've done tens of millions of streams on these anime videos, and a lot of reasons why these bigger YouTube channels like to work with me is because I control the copyright of the music. So I can assure them that, listen, you can use my song, make whatever video you want out of it, just use the song, and I can go in there and make sure that copyright claim is removed so that channel never gets flagged for anything to do with my content. Whereas again, on a label, just like even though I have my own label, I'm still in the ecosystem. So if you were to put up a video right now with my music, it would probably say, hey, this video, not a strike, but it has a copyright claim. So it'll claim the revenue. So none of the revenue goes to your channel, but I can then go on and send my rep an email and say, hey, please release the claim on this video. That way it doesn't affect your channel whatsoever. And you can monetize it just like it's your own content. So working with song owners or copyright holders, as they would say, is always a benefit because you can work with each other to make sure none of that happens.
See, I did not know that because I know all these people. So it's
Right.
like, and a lot of times, hell, I had when I first started doing this Zoom stuff, one of the guys, that young band Saul,
Yeah.
he's like, I'm gonna do a video intro for our looking to fight video or whatever.
Right.
I was like, okay. And then all of a sudden, yeah, I went to try to put it on the end of the interview and YouTube wouldn't let me.
Right.
So, but now knowing that, I could have just contacted him. Hey, Blake, you gotta like
Exactly.
give me access to this.
But
And
I will say this, when you're on a label, certain labels, they're not going to be able to do that because the artist, like if it's this guy you're talking about, you know, he might not even own his music because he's on, I can't remember the label, you know,
Spine Farm.
Spine Farm. So they do a deal with Spine Farm. Technically, I'm sure they signed the album over to Spine Farm. So at the end of the day, it's going to be the label's call. So he can call and say, hey, can you remove this? They could say, go F yourself, basically, if they want to.
Okay.
Stupid, in my opinion, because all it does is get you less promotion. Like, over what? Why? Like, who cares? Let the music. He's trying to promote you, for fuck's sake.
You gotta make that 21 hundredths of a cent on that stream.
Yeah, dude, that's exactly why it blows my mind, because it's like you're so worried about that. You know what I mean? So again, you know, future reference, like if you and I do something or want to put this on YouTube or have a video thing, you just got to let me know and I'll make sure that you're whitelisted off. It'll never be a problem, bro.
Okay, awesome. And I'll
Like
play your shit all the time.
Yeah,
I'll play it all the time on YouTube now.
And these YouTube channels, that's how it helped launch my career, being able to control the copyright and it can assure people that, hey, we can work together and both benefit.
Actually get your stuff out there. Last thing I want to talk to you about, album 1990. What is, yeah, I noticed you're sporting. Like I was looking for my Blacklite District shirt a little while ago and I can't find the damn thing.
Dude, I'm going to get you a new one because I got all this new 1990 collection that just came out, AK19.shop, if you're out there looking for some good clothing and apparel. And I want to send you some, bro. So when we're done here, let's just keep in touch. And I got great new designs, hoodies, all that. So I'd love to get you some down.
Absolutely. What is the significance behind 1990? The actual title?
So I went with the title. Obviously, I don't know if it's obvious, but that's the year I was born. So, and again, going back to my recovery, being hooked on the opiates. So a couple of years ago, I was in the hospital 3 times in a year for pancreatitis, which was alcohol induced, because I would go on tour, drink like crazy, like a lot of us do, but I would bring it home. I'd end up sitting here in my basement drinking a half a gallon of whiskey by myself. That became a whole problem.
Oh,
in the hospital, I'd have to be admitted for a week at a time to get the pancreas to go down, because it basically gives you 3rd-degree burns inside your organs, you know. Okay. So I'd put on opiates every time, but I wouldn't stop fucking drinking. So finally, the 3rd time in the hospital, I felt like I was going to die. They put me on the painkillers. Basically, I switched one addiction and went straight into the painkillers because, like, I can't drink anymore, but I'm getting all these prescriptions. Again, another year goes by. It's almost uncomfortable to talk about, but I was spending about $10,000 to $15,000 a month, and I was going through about 500 fentanyl pills a week.
10 to 15,000?
Oh, easy, bro. A month, every month.
Wow.
And I would get 500 pills mailed right to my front door. I mean, I could go into some crazy shit right now that would blow your mind with the cartels and this and that. But basically, I had this hookup. I was getting these pills. My wife kind of knew something was going on, but I was hiding it. I was going through withdrawals all the time and blah, blah, blah. So to get to the whole 1990, I went to rehab. I broke my hip, like I mentioned earlier. So it's been a crazy year, but I was forced to kind of sit in a recliner and write songs and play guitar. And the producer, Brett Hessler, he and I worked together a long time ago. And when I knew I wanted to make this rock album and just make heavy music, because that's what has inspired me and blah, 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 right? So It was kind of, okay, we're going back. We're doing a total reset. And I say it's really just me. I mean, I write all the music, do this and that, you know. So it was like, okay, I'm going to go through my history as an artist. I found little riffs from 10 years ago that maybe I never used, or this song Clear Skies I mentioned earlier, had the first part of the hook I wrote when I was like 17 years old about a situation. And it was kind of going back, finding these little pieces, you know, Brett Hessler, the producer, did a guitar solo. Clinton is featured on one of the songs. I had my uncle, my cousin. So 1990 is really all about going through life. It's a total reset, grabbing little bits and pieces, creating something new as a kind of a total reset. Blacklite District, 1990, December 31st release date, starting the new year back to 1990.
That is a cool story, man.
Yeah,
That really is going back, just resetting. That's
sure.
I like that a lot, man. Blacklightdistrict.net, the websites, and we talked about the merch, and you got all that that new line in 1990 merch that people have to get there and get. They can check out just what we've been talking about, man, and or what we touched on, because your bio like is more in depth, and
Bro, we're gonna have to do this again sometime because there's a lot more story to get to.
Okay,
I'm
all
glad
right,
you've broken this ice, man. I hope I can come back on. You know,
absolutely. Actually, this show is for you. This show is for the artists and is for the fans. Okay, I'm just a music share on steroids.
right?
I pay the shit and I throw it out there, and I want people to. I'm all about forward progression, and I want people to keep on moving forward. You know, I don't want them to get stuck in a certain area. So, but you got something you want to get out there, use this as a platform. Like, I'll give you my number. You can text, you can say, hey, Shep, I got this video for my fans. You got to put it on your website, or you got to get the audio on the show. You know, it's all for you, man. That's totally
what,
it.
bro, that you have no idea how much things like that mean to me as an artist, man. If only there was 100 more PDs like you in this world. Because again, just from talking to you this short amount of time, and based on what you just said, I can see and sense the passion you have for this music, and like you said, pushing it forward. Everyone else seems to be so backwards. It just blows my mind. So Shep, I love it, bro. I love the stations. I've listened many times on the road. Every time I drive by the Dakota Dunes sign going to Iowa, I always think of you because I used to see it from that area, you know, and dude, that means a lot. So knowing that, I'm all about helping everyone out. I have a big platform, you know, I'm about to hit 200,000 subscribers on YouTube. Just got my plaque.
Sweet, you got your plaque.
Dude, but I mean, that's real shit, you know, like I'm proud of this because that's a real fan. That's 100,000 people that subscribe.
Well, think of all the work it took you to get that. So you better be fucking proud of it.
Right. But again, to have a platform like you and stations like yours, man, knowing that now, I would love to keep building this relationship, and maybe we can both benefit somehow. Cross promotion, man. Let's get the music out there, the station out there. My fans eat this stuff up, bro. When I start promoting something, I guarantee I could bring listeners over, especially if they know you're playing Blacklite District, man. Let's do something, bro. Anytime.
I'm totally game, man. I am all yours. What other you talked about the YouTube, you have the multiple YouTube channels, and what other platforms? Okay, I'm sure Twitter, Facebook. Are there any out there that you really want people to know about?
I mean, the best way to keep up with me is on Instagram. I'm at Blacklite District on pretty much all platforms. Twitter at official BLD, TikTok. All of this, again, TikTok's another platform. That song Falling last year did 20 million views on TikTok, 2,000 videos made in the first month. So again, I'm just out there anywhere you can find music. Like I said, if you want to stay connected, I read all my DMs from the fans, and I hit a lot of people back anytime I can. So just at Blacklite District. That's pretty much it, man. I mean, I'm out there at all the standard places. Like I said, I'm really grateful to be here. 1990 is my new album coming out December 31st. The second single is called Clear Skies. That'll come out Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving. And again, you know, Gotta Get Out of Here is already top 40 on the Billboard Mainstream Rock Indicator chart. Week 1, man. Yep. Last week, it was #1 most added on Foundations, #2 on the BDS Indicator. So I'm just glad to watch that. Octane had it in Test Drive. We'll see what happens there. So it's just awesome to get some support like this from the traditional like radio world. But again, I got the Minecraft video coming out, which is going to blow the song up even more. I'm just doing my thing, man. I'm all about the music. I'm all about making shit happen. And I'm so glad we got to finally meet, Shep, for sure.
And I want to give the listeners a taste of got to get out of here. If they weren't able to listen last week or the week before, because you were on both of those shows last week and the week before, guys, seriously, this tune is awesome. Got to get out of here. I love it, man. And request. Remember, a radio station near or far. You gotta get a number for a station from when you were 12 years old. Call it up and request. All works the same. Okay. Yep. All works the same.
Tell my fans this now too. So don't be surprised if in the next few days your Twitter is blown up with Blacklite requests from my audience, because I'm going to tell them this is the station we're listening to.
Okay.
Dude, I'm
all
serious,
right,
bro. I'm serious. Wait and see.
I will. I don't know. I guess look at it, be mesmerized.
right.
But I'm anxious to see where I call my listeners my balls of awesome, and because they really are. When I ask them to do something, I can see it reflect in the charts. Now we're a secondary market charting show, so mainly we pull from foundations, and that's what we mainly look at as the rock artists.
In my opinion, sorry to cut you off, but
yeah.
When it comes to like the secondary markets, foundations, an indicator chart, and then there's like the main, the
meat.
Honestly, I care more about the secondary market chart, because that's where I'm going to play. That's where stations like you that actually want to support artists. People are so taboo about talking about this. I don't give a shit. I'm not going to go out and pay these indie promoters $1,000 per ad so I can get thrown in and played 3 times a week at 3 a.m. just to get on their fucking fake bot chart. It's all bot. It's paid for. Everyone pays to get on the radio. Every meet. Fuck y'all. You know what I'm saying? It's like, dude, it's bullshit. People don't want to talk about it. I'll talk about it all day long. That's why these stations, secondary market, that's where I feel like my home's at, man, because that's real passion, not just bot shit,
I love that honesty. I really do. That is freaking awesome to hear. Blacklite District, got to get out of here. Cannot wait to see where you big balls of awesome put them next week. Oh my God. Well, actually, which will be this week, because we're recording this interview the day before like the new stuff comes out. So I cannot wait to see where you guys put them. Blacklite District, got to get out of here. Kyle, so great to talk to you, man. Got to get out of here right now on Real Rock Nights.